Hi everybody, Ram has already confirmed that a high-speed halo off-road truck is coming in the new TRX, and today we have some exclusive details to share on the upcoming truck. So in this video, we'll kick it off by going over 6 exclusive images that were just sent to us showing us some really cool TRX details. Then we'll go over some exclusive spy videos, and then of course we'll talk about everything we know about this truck, including when we think it will actually be available. We have a lot to cover, so let's get started. Let's start off by going over these 6 images which show some pretty cool details. So first you can see right here the TRX seat. Of course it looks like a heavily bolstered leather seat with that TRX stitching, suggesting that the interior of this truck will probably be fairly luxurious. Now moving on, this is an exciting one. What you're looking at here, guys, is the supercharger. The engine in this truck is gonna be a 6.2 liter supercharged V8. Of course we know it as the Hellcat, and this is our first actual photo of the Hellcat in the truck. You can see that little SRT badge plate with the Hellcat logo on it. Now moving on, this is a really cool picture, guys. Rams, as you probably know, have used a rotary dial shifter now for quite a while, but this photo shows us that they're moving to a shotgun style shifter just like what is found in the Ford F-150. Now we can't confirm whether this will be for all Rams or just for the TRX, but at least we can see that this high-speed monster is getting a new shifter. And I've heard a lot of people complain about that rotary dial, so you know what, this might be a really smart decision by Ram. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Do you think that this new style shifter should be in every Ram, or do you like the little rotary dial? Now right here, we are looking at where this 6.2 liter monster is going to breathe from, and that's a seriously massive air intake right up front. Moving on, this is a fun photo. If you've been in an FCA product recently, especially a Jeep, you know that FCA loves Easter eggs. What you're looking at here is the bottom of the center console in this TRX, and my guess is what it's showing is an actual representation of scale between a human, a TRX, a T-Rex, the dinosaur, and then of course that tiny little dinosaur you see, that is a raptor. And Ram is not being very subtle in letting us know that they are going directly after that Ford. And finally, guys, take a look. It looks like the Ram is getting a trailer steering system. This is probably like Ford's Pro Trailer Backup Assist, where you turn the knob left and the trailer goes left, turn the knob right, the trailer goes right. Now it's definitely interesting to see Ram introducing this on the TRX, but I don't think it's gonna stay just in the off-road truck. This is the kind of feature that is likely to spread throughout the Ram lineup. Thank you so much to our anonymous tipster for sending in those images. Now they actually hit my inbox after I was done filming my Everything We Know video, but I didn't want you guys to miss them. So I added them in, and now we'll run the rest of the video going over all the other details we think we know on the upcoming TRX.
That's definitely for sure. Off-road, yeah, for sure. Yep, for what it is.
What you are looking at here are the latest spy videos of this Ram TRX. They were submitted to us by a viewer, Wesley, so thanks so much for sending these in. Now they don't show a ton of details because of course the truck is covered in a whole bunch of body camouflage, but one thing that jumped out at me, you can see it here, it looks like there's a Crosshair Grille on the front of this truck. Now it's kind of hard to say whether it's a real Crosshair Grille or whether it's actually just a photo, you know, an imprint on that camo. It's kind of hard to tell. Ram might be trying to pull a fast one on me here, but there's definitely some kind of Crosshair Grille on the front of that truck. Now talking about what the TRX is going to look like, we do have a number of helpful hints. The first and most obvious one is right here. This is the Ram TRX Concept. This is an official concept that the brand released, teasing what the TRX will be, and of course the way this truck looks probably is going to influence the way the production truck will look as well. There's one other image I want to show you which I think foreshadows the way the TRX is going to look, and it's right here. This is actually a poster for FCA's Drive to Design contest it held for high school students, and there is no official confirmation of this, but I suspect what we're looking at is an early design drawing for the TRX. Just look at those air intakes up on the hood, the big massive fender flares. I think this could be an early TRX drawing, but again, we'll have to wait and see. Before we keep moving, let's take a closer look at the TRX concept truck, and for now, I'll be quiet so you can hear this beast in action. The TRX Concept comes riding on a set of 37-inch tires, and the track has been widened by a full 6 inches. Suspension travel on this truck has been improved by 40% according to Ram, and of course the frame, axles, and all the driveline components have been beefed up. The concept is definitely a rough blueprint for the production truck, as I really don't believe it's going to get 37-inch tall tires. But if it looks as good and sounds as good as it does in this video, this is going to be one heck of a desert run. The engine under the hood is all but confirmed, and right here in one of the video clips, you can actually hear it. Listen closely. Yes, that is definitely a V8, and I like the sound of that low, throaty growl. The power output is also a question mark. In most of these vehicles, it makes 707 horsepower, but when Ram rolled out that concept, they only announced 575 horsepower, so it's not exactly clear where they're going to go with the power output. We know that there is a four-wheel drive system that's up to the task of taking 707 horsepower. It's over there in the Grand Cherokee Trackhawk, but we still don't know whether the full 707 will be coming to the truck, but dang do we hope this truck definitely makes over 700. Let's look at suspension now, and we actually have some photos here of the concept truck showing what was going on underneath. Now on the concept, Ram used King shocks, and it's not really clear yet which brand they will use when this truck comes to production, but one thing that is basically certain is that the Ram will definitely have adjustable damping. Just like the Raptor has with those Fox live valve shocks, the Ram, you'll be able to be in the truck, turn a dial, flip a switch, and change the stiffness of that suspension, which is massively helpful for different off-road situations. All of that suspension is there to help improve travel, and early rumors suggest the TRX will have 4 extra inches of suspension travel and that the track will be widened by 3 inches overall. Oh, and back to the shocks for a second, Ram does use Bilsteins on the 1500 Rebel, so it wouldn't be too surprising if they tap Bilstein for this TRX as well. Taking a closer look at the tires, it is pretty hard to tell exactly what they are from these videos. I think it's a set of Goodyear Wrangler Duratracs, but it's not exactly clear. That once again is the tire that comes on the Ram 1500 Rebel, so it wouldn't be a stretch for Ram to offer that on the TRX as well. The one piece of info that we have heard though is that the tires will be 35 inches in diameter straight from the factory. Now let's move on to the interior, and let me show you this photo of the TRX's gauge cluster. This is an exclusive photo sent to us here at TFL, and it tells us a whole bunch of information. One of the coolest bits of which is that the TRX will definitely have FCA's performance pages. So performance pages comes in any SRT vehicle, and it essentially allows you to measure the performance of your vehicle. So things like 0 to 60, 0 to 100 timing, 100 to 0 brake timing. You can actually test your drag race reaction time. There's just so many different super cool functions, and based on this photo, which shows a bunch of different drag timers, yes, this truck will definitely have performance pages, which is a lot of fun to play around with. Now there's something else that we can see as well in this next photo, and that is launch control. Heck yes, this TRX is going to have launch control. Now what you're looking at here is the four-wheel drive switch bank on this Ram, and it tells us a few different things too. First of all, like I mentioned, launch control. Second of all, this will be a full-time four-wheel drive truck. There is no two-wheel drive option listed here, so we must assume that it's going to be 4WD all the time. And then of course on the left, you have traction control, you have hill descent control, but the coolest button here has to be the one above. Those are the TRX drive modes. We don't know exactly what those drive modes will be yet, but we can take a pretty good guess. The TRX is likely to have things like rock crawl mode, wet driving mode, sand mode, mud mode, and then of course it needs something to compete with the Raptor's Baja mode. That's its high-speed off-road mode. Maybe Ram will call it Dakar mode, I'm not sure, but you can definitely look out for some type of high-speed off-road mode, which is guaranteed to be the most fun. I did not forget about the other button there too, the one that says axle lock. Now it is no surprise to hear that the TRX will have an electronic locking differential in the rear end. The Ram Rebel already has one. What we don't know is what's going to happen in the front end. Now the Ford Raptor of course uses a limited slip diff in the front, and if Ram truly wants to compete, they'll probably do the same. Of course the Ram also sells the Power Wagon, which has lockers front and rear, so we know they can do it. The question is, will they? And that remains to be seen. Honestly, we really don't know what it's going to cost, but if you look at that Ford Raptor, it starts at about 55 grand in the US, so that's giving Ram, a really clear bar that they hopefully will beat. And finally, when will you actually be able to buy a TRX? Well, we have some murky information on this one. Now, initially, we were supposed to see this truck in September of 2020. That technically hasn't changed, and hopefully things are still on track. Now, if we do see the truck this September, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be on sale before the end of the year or by early 2021, likely as a 2022 model. But I probably don't have to tell you all that with the current global situation, things are really in flux. So we'll pretty much just have to wait and see and hope that the TRX shows up sometime after the summer. So guys, that's it for this video. We definitely have a lot of information on this truck, but there's still some pretty big holes we have to fill in, and as soon as we get that info, we will definitely share it with you here on TFL. So make sure you go below, leave a comment, hit like, hit subscribe, and then come right back to the channel for the latest news, views, and real world reviews. See ya.